Okay, we're here at the rice paddies where a bunch of us dudes in this village here also share a communal tractor, and we're going to be doing awaken work, which is basically compacting the side of the rice paddy walls, making them almost waterproof, making sure that there's no holes or weaknesses in it. And yeah, we'll take a look and jump on the tractor. Great, so this is what the finished aze looks like. Compacted pretty hard. I'm pretty sure the water's not going to be able to flow from this side to that side easily. But yeah, can you believe it? In the old days, people used to do this communally, just with garden hose, and they would dig up the mud and compact the side of the wall to make it waterproof. So that was very labor intensive, but you know, it shows technology improves agriculture, and through master engineering feats, people are able to do this. And nowadays, this task is done by one person in a matter of minutes, while as it used to take dozens of people, you know, hours, maybe half a day to do. So we have a co-op system here. We share all the farm equipment, from the tractor like this, the combine harvesters, to the rice planters, forklifts, excavators, various fencing equipment, gasoline, other types of fuel, grass cutting blades. So all of this is part of the co-op system, and as a member you have access to use these equipments. We also get paid to work communally too, when we're doing communal work like cutting grass or whatnot. So it's a great system for people trying to start farming. You can start with pretty much zero money down, and on top of that you actually learn a lot. You get a little bit of pocket change on the side too. So this is the advantage of that system, and that's what drew me here in the beginning. And it's a shame, but not many places really do this or still have this anymore. So I hope this system continues to you know, keep going on through the future. And just a reminder, if you want to see what the next steps are in rice planting, please follow the channel, give it a like for the video, and yeah, let's continue on. So we're here in the field. This is the artery of the entire operation, the entire system. These waterways are concrete, so they were installed by people generations ago. This water is being brought down from a small river inside the forest. So there's this entire thing connects to the deep part of the forest, and it brings the best, freshest water right to these paddies here. You'll notice that the paddies are always staggered. Water flows from up to down. The water will go to the first paddy, and then it'll flow out back to the second paddy, and then down to the next paddy. They're all terraced shapes. So these are what we call rice paddy or rice terraces. Okay, so here we've lifted up the gate, and the water is flowing from the main waterway through a small pipe into the paddy. And you can see this paddy is slowly trying to fill itself up. Give it a couple days and it'll be fully filled to the brim. And then on this side we have the exit. So there are different ways to do this. This is quite rudimentary. Basically, the height of the pipe can be adjusted up and down. So when the water gets over this pipe, naturally it'll flow back down. So if you keep increasing the height of the pipe, then the water level will also increase too. And then from one paddy, it'll go back out to the main artery. So the water is actually, it's not being lost. It's being, in Japanese, tameru, like stored in one paddy, but eventually it'll go back out to the main water source, and it'll flow back down towards the ocean no matter what you do. So people always say that rice agriculture is water intensive, which it is to a certain degree, but the water is always funneled back out and goes back towards the ocean, to the river and the ocean. So this is one of the first major steps of starting agriculture, rice paddy agriculture. But to get this water flowing like this, there's a huge job that must be done in the very beginning of the season. And that's in my opinion, is when the season really starts, is when the village or the community gathers all able-bodied people, and then we go up to the mountains where the source of the water is, and then we clean all these waterways. We're talking about kilometers of waterway. And since the end of the previous year's harvest, all throughout autumn and winter, a lot of gunk, dead leaves, mud, whatever you can think, has fallen into these unused water pipes. So it's basically a huge effort to kind of scoop out all of that gunk and free the water and bring that water back all the way here. So you'll notice that around a lot of these waterways, there's a lot of fallen leaves and stuff. So that's the stuff that's been building up in there all winter. And without cleaning, there's no way the water can pass by and pass through here. So yeah, that's kind of the first most backbreaking work when it comes to agriculture. And that's something that you have to do as a team. It's not something that you can really do by yourself as an individual. So in the old days, this is what the waterway would have looked like. But now it's reinforced with concrete, sandbags, PVC piping. So yeah, it's much easier to manage than in the old days. We have to routinely come and clean these waterways, especially during the rainy season. A lot of these leaves from the slope will wash down and then they'll pile up like this. And that'll really restrict the flow of water and the volume needed to fill the rice paddies. So if you leave it like this, it'll keep building up and the water might flow sideways outside of the channel and it'll go deep into the woods, and that's just wasted water right there. So let's just clear this up. These branches are annoying. Right. And you can see the water's flowing much faster than before. So there's different choke points along the way. I usually check the choke points because where the waterway bends, that's where you usually get stoppage. And if you leave a small clump like this just in there, especially these twigs, they'll keep catching more and more leaves and it'll become a giant mass. So getting rid of these things in the beginning are really important. So here you see there's a choke point because these aze panels, these walls here, are bending in a circle. So when the water hits these, the water kind of slows down a bit, and you'll see this is all just pure sand that's been collected here. And this will definitely pile up over time, and then the water will overflow. It'll come this way and it'll go down the hill, and that's wasted water here. So definitely you need to clean this stuff up. And definitely the twigs. Hate the twigs. All right, so here we are at the source of the paddy water. So all the paddies you saw in the video before, all comes from this little tiny entry point. And it's actually a little bit blocked, so I'm actually going to clean it a bit. But yeah, just this tiny little waterway will feed dozens of paddies throughout the year. Okay, so now it's just a matter of filling this in. Once we have the water, we know the water's running, and we'll be tilling this a couple times, and then we'll be adding water in. And then once the water kind of permeates deep into the soil, we'll do a special tilling with a special rotor to turn it into mud, which is kind of what most people associate with rice paddies. So that's a process called the shirokaki. So this right now is not sticky or wet enough to plant rice. And if you just added water in like this, it's still, basically going to be like this underwater. So we still have to do a few more processes on it. And then once the shiitokaki is done and it's proper mud, then that's about time for the rice seedlings to go in. And rice seedlings, generally, the general rule, I mean, not everyone does it like this, but it's 3 days after the shiitokaki tilling where it's become mud, it has time to settle down. Then the seedlings can be brought in and then transplanted using a specialized rice planting machine. From now to then, it's just basic water management, trying to get all the tasks done on time. Seedlings are an entire different can of worms. You know, a lot of people grow their own seedlings, but I'm not a professional full-time farmer, so I do purchase my seedlings from a trusted organic source, and they are usually grown in a greenhouse under careful supervision and daily watering and making sure there's no disease and making sure the temperature's always, you know, the right temperature, and they're protected from the elements. So yeah, if you want to see the next step, please continue to follow, and yeah, we'll please look forward to the next stage in rice planting, the exciting part. Thank you. See you guys again soon.